Yo, what's up guys? It's the Elephant, and it is time for Garage Review Episode 7. I'm pretty sure it's Episode 7. Because we did Episode 5, which is the Legendary, and then Episode 6 was the Calm Before the Storm, where we were supposed to have an update, but then there was no update. But here we go, with Garage Update Episode 7 of this garage. We are now on day 522. It's actually been a while since we did a garage update, so a lot has changed, especially a lot of good stuff too. So first off, I have 338 locked cars right now, and 23 for my fuse pile. Only thing that's really above super rare is the GMC Acadia Denali, and the rest are just a bunch of super rares. I did have more, but then I had to fuse or sell them away for packs to open or to fuse them away into better cars. But now, let's show off some of the good stuff I have gotten starting at the very back, and then we'll just move our way up, because I doubt there will be very much down here. Still have my Citroen Zara Picasso, which has an 100% win ratio as a common, and it just started thundering outside. That's interesting. But yeah, nothing interesting so far that's happened for commons really. It's just commons, like no prize cars or anything. Uncommon collection, it's just basically the same, just a couple of maxed out stuff when I need to use it, and a bunch of other stuff I'm just saving in case I will need to use it in the future, so I don't have to be looking out for it. That's basically what my lower tier is. I have a bunch of stock cars, and if I ever need to use it, I just max it out immediately. And that's basically how I've been doing it, so I don't really have to ever waste resources, because all these cars will eventually be needed once. And so, yep, just a bunch of uncommons, some of which are projects that I'm like working on eventually, or like randomly when I need them, and others are just sort of sitting there. Just a bunch of other stuff too. Rares, it's the same thing, just a bunch of either 1-starred stuff, stock stuff, or maxed out stuff, because it's either I've needed it for like a challenge and I 1-star it, it's maxed out because I need it maxed out for like clubs or for a challenge, or it's stock because it's a good car but I don't really need to max it out yet. Super rares, let's see if there's anything that stands out. I mean, the Call of the Wild tag is also back out, which I'll cover in a second, but that's why I have this Beetle lock still, is because it's a Call of the Wild card, so I might actually need to max it out now too, so that's why I'm keeping it. Any new super rares? I did pull the 164 Super. Actually, I got it from a challenge. This is a super rare I've been wanting for quite a while, so did get that, which I'm pretty happy about. Other stuff, got just other cars I've needed from a challenge. Camaro IROC Z was also a car I'd been wanting for a while, like the 164 Super, and I got it. Fiat Coupe 20V Turbo, just used it in a challenge, so that's why I'm keeping it, is because I had used it once for that one challenge. And other stuff like Ford Ranger Wildtrak, same thing, used it once in an event, it's just kind of sitting here at 1-star. Might max it out again if I ever need to use it again. DS3 Racing is another one like that Camaro, which is just a car that I like a lot, and so I want to keep it, even though it might not be like that great. DS3 Racing is actually a pretty decent car though. There are better French cars though, so it's not like super great. Nothing else really noticeable here for super rares, just a couple other stuff that I like. And yeah, that's basically it for supers. Now, ultra rares, all my ultra rares are maxed out besides 2 that I have locked, one of which I pulled from the carbon fiber today from that one Citroen event. I ended in 2nd place, which is the Peugeot 205 T16. Actually going to keep it this time. I had it before, had to fuse it because I needed fuse material, and I never really found a need to max it out. I do want to keep it this time, but I don't know, I may end up fusing it, except I do really want to max it out because it is actually a pretty solid car. I'm pretty sure it hits, I know it hits 90 handling max, but I'm not sure if it hits 4.9 or 4.8 0 to 60. But it hits one of those, I'm not too sure though. And for other stuff, it's just a bunch of stuff, kind of. Maxed out the Cayman, that's at 233. And here's my other only stock ultra rare, which is the Nissan Silvia 240 RS, because I had to fuse a lot of stuff into epics for the winning the Citroen GT. So I don't have any of my old projects anymore. Had to fuse the Mazda Cosmo, had to fuse this Chrysler Citadel, had to fuse my second Colorado ZR2, had to fuse my Focus RS, had to fuse that front-wheel drive ultra rare, the Acura TLX I think it was, and a bunch of other stuff. Had to fuse my Maserati Grand Cabrio MC, which was also a car I'd been keeping, and there was like maybe like 10 others that were all projects that I'd been wanting to keeping, like the 911 RS, that RQ63 Porsche, and then the 968 Turbo S I think is what it is, which is the RQ64 yellow one. Both of those also are pretty great cars, and I had to fuse them all away. So now my only 2 stock ultra rares are the Silvia 240 RS, which I refused to fuse, because my only other off-road tire, like rear-wheel drive motorsport car, or I guess front-wheel drive motorsport car as well, is just that Porsche 924. And then the 205 T16 I just pulled today, and I do want to keep it as well. But it might possibly end up getting fused, even though I want to keep it. Other stuff for ultra rares, it's just sort of ultra rares. They're just kind of here. They're really great cars, all of them. Some because I did end up also having to fuse my max 300M concept, which I had at 332. It was worth it though. I mean, I got a legendary prize car out of it, and I'm not really going to use a 332 4.0 85 handling 0 to 60 car that's from like the 80s or 90s. Like, I just didn't see myself using it that much, so using it as fuse was fine anyway. I'd otherwise probably end up just selling it. And that's the only reason I maxed it was for a final. But now here, I have the 3 best RQ65 epics. Or at least I'd say the 3 best RQ65 epics. Acura TL SH all-wheel drive. It is really good just because it can beat the Cadillac 4-wheel drive standard tire car, the CTS Coupe. It can beat it maxed out, and it's also a RQ65 4-wheel drive standard tire car, so it's a pretty decent RQ saver if, like, you don't have any ultra rares. I mean, it's not really a car that's worth maxing out, but it is one of the more, it's probably in the top 3. Also, Peugeot 306 Maxi, I have it at 113. It was my project until the Citroen GT Finals came out. Now I don't really know what to do with it, if I should continue maxing it, or if I should start saving fuse since I have none. And then I pulled this too, from an unrecorded ×5, which ×5 ceramic, which gave me the fuse to also max out, or not max out, but put in the final upgrade to win the Citroen GT. I opened this pack after selling maybe 5 cars that were just, I'd never really used anymore, and it was worth it, even though I don't really like to sell cars anymore because I always end up maxing them out again. But this one was actually really worth it. Got 2 ultra rares. It was like that Peugeot 507 or 508 GTI. It's that ultra rare one that has good MRA but no handling, so it's a pretty useless French medium car. And then like a random BMW SUV. And then I had the Chevrolet Murray, which is a great car. Plus, I'm also a Chevy specialist too. I mainly specialize when it comes to brands, Chevy and Porsche, because those are my 2 strong suits in areas of that. Also Dodge too. I have a rather strong Dodge hand, but there are a lot of better Dodge, so that's why I more stick with Porsche then. And so Chevy and Porsche, Chevy Murray is a great car to have. So really happy with that. I am missing now 3 epics, which some people might notice, I guess, if they watch that one Citroen GT challenge video, because I had to do a live legendary fuse, which is where I got rid of my ZL1 convertible, the Peugeot 907, and then the second BMW Nazca C2, which I pulled. Also, had the Porsche Cayman GTS, which, if you didn't see the Citroen GT video, is I pulled also from an unrecorded ceramic. I have it at, I pulled it from an unrecorded carbon fiber. Have it at 113 right now, and it's actually a pretty solid car. BMW M6 Grand Coupe, also have it 121 for that event. And a bunch of other epics. A lot of them are pretty useful. I have some projects that I want to work on. I also have a really solid BMW hand now, because I keep pulling BMW cars. And another thing I got from an unrecorded carbon. I had been looking for fuse for the Citroen GT, just decided to pop a carbon, and ended up pulling the Porsche 911 GT2, which I'm really happy about because one of the areas I'd been lacking for Porsche is those epic high handling Porsche. And this is actually one of the more higher up ones. Like, I do, I guess, have the 911 Carrera RSR 3.0, but it doesn't really get used as much in Porsche events. Like, I just don't really see it as often, or ever, see anyone using it, including myself using it in Porsche events. So 911 GT2 is actually a pretty good one, plus it has the same MRA as the 911 Carrera RSR, which is around 80. And then for other stuff, I do have my 222 750D X-Drive, which I'll probably max out if it's ever used, and if I ever need to use it in a final or something. And then my 131 Audi TT RS Plus Coupe, which is basically my drag spec Audi, because I'm not going to 332 an Audi, but I did do it at 131, which was enough to tie on the drag against the SL63 on round 26. And then my prize car, my new legendary prize car, my first legendary prize car, also legendary number 10, the Citroen GT, has a 55% win ratio, but that's also because I just used it to tie everything. It wasn't actually from losses. It's either at 1 or it tied. And then I got my 121 Gumpert Apollo S, which was the car that I did the live legendary fuse for, because I needed to get more than 100 points to win the Citroen GT. And that's basically it. So, a lot of epics, plus then also I'll show off the Call of the Wild, because the Call of the Wild tag has returned. And this is what the stuff is. This is what I have. I have a Lamborghini Murcielago, Porsche Cayman GTS, also the De Tomaso Guaira, Porsche Cayman, the Pantera GT5S, Ford Bronco Concept, and then some pretty solid super rares, and then my lower tier is kind of lacking, but I'll try to, any Call of the Wild cards I pull, I will try and keep them. So, might actually be enough to get like an epic prize car if they give one out, or at least like whatever the second tier prize car is, because usually they have 3 tiers of prize cards. They have like the low one for most people can get if they just have like a good low hand, then the medium one, which is like you need to have at least a significantly good garage, and then the high tier one, which you need to have like all the good stuff. And I don't really think I need to invest on this one because I just won a legendary prize car, and I mean, I want to save my resources now and kind of rebuild my garage after having to get rid of a ton of stuff. So I'm just sort of going to hope maybe I can win like an epic prize car out of it or something, or whatever the second tier prize is. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. Yeah, probably that's just basically it with this video. This is my prize car collection then, with the new edition of the Citroen GT. Now just missing a epic prize car. And actually, let's see what the epic prize cars are. So there's a lot of good ones, like the CTR Yellowbird, the Land Evo, and the ZL11LE, but none of these will probably be like tier 2 prize cars. They're usually more lower down. Now, if ever one of these GT40 race cars get given out, I'm going all in for it, like what I did for the Citroen GT. I am winning one of these GT40 race cars. It doesn't matter which one of them is going to end up in my garage. Or both. Both would be amazing too, or all 3, except the other 4 GT has already been given out. But other stuff that might be given out, I mean, I don't remember when the Porsche Cayenne Turbo was last given out, but it's also rather high RQ as well, and it does seem to be a pretty solid car. Like, when it comes to the epics that they give out, they're not really, like, crazy great. They're sort of more eh. Like, it seems like the ones that they've given out was the Volvo 850 BTCCC, which isn't that great. F-Type rally car, same thing. Honda NSX-R, and the Infiniti Q60. None of them have really, oh, and the Maserati 250F. None of them have really been, like, top tier epics that you want to win, but maybe they will end up giving one out. Like, Aerial Nomad would be pretty cool. Miata SVJ they already gave out. Impreza 22B would also be a pretty nice one, even though they are low RQ cars. Both Copo Camaros have been in the game for a long time, and they still haven't been given out yet. So that'd be interesting whenever they plan on giving out one of those. They did give out the Grande Punto, or Grand Punto, or Grande, I'm not too sure. The S2000. They gave it out for one of these types of challenges. So we know that they do go up to RQ73, at least when giving out epic prize cars. So hey, maybe they might go above even more. Maybe give out like the Range Rover Sport SVR. That would be a pretty interesting prize car. And yeah, or some people are saying it might be the Ram Rebel TRX because it does have the Call of the Wild tag, which would be pretty interesting since they did include it with the Call of the Wild tag, even though it's a prize car that hasn't been given out yet. So maybe it could be that. Maybe that's what the big top tier prize is, because it is actually a really solid epic. But I don't know. And so yeah, that's actually going to conclude this video now. Now I got nothing else to say. So that's going to conclude Garage Update Episode 7. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these types of videos, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that cool stuff. I'm Yellowfin. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.